I mean, it's definitely been petering out in the countries that had the biggest hits, the United States infection rates and, just throughout Europe, you've seen, Italy, you no longer see body bags on the street in Milan, you see people dancing in front of the various tourist attractions there that have nobody coming in, right? Mm-hmm. And the reason is because this thing has followed what is the normal path for this kind of virus, if you look historically, in fact. So, whether we have a second wave or not, I'm not sure. But if we do, or if we have anything that could be, similar to coronavirus that attacks again, Australia is going to be massively underprepared immunologically. And what have we paid? What's the price we've paid for that? Or, maybe 10,000 fewer deaths. That's an upper estimate, I think, but maybe 20,000 if you want to be extremely, conservative. For that, we have paid the price of the worst recession we've seen in most of our lifetimes. And, many other, as I said before, crowded out healthcare, other costs related to mental illness, domestic violence, et cetera, et cetera. And really, there hasn't been a full accounting. In fact, you're quite right, because it's very difficult to do it because, a proper reckoning requires looking at all those different ways in which our policy actions have impacted negatively on welfare. And there's so many of them, and we interact in so many different interdependent ways with each other. It's very difficult to get precise estimates, but there are people who have attempted to get back of the envelope estimate. And when you look at those back of the envelope estimates, even if they are out by an order of magnitude, we still would have been better off not locking down.
Do you feel the way that those remarks were perceived was that people felt that you were coming from some sort of extreme Darwinist or even eugenic type of framework? You're sort of saying, well, we can risk older adults, we can risk some immunocompromised people. From that model, I'm assuming that you'd make a different judgment around the way that lockdowns work for something like Spanish influenza, which predominantly affected 20 to 40-year-olds.
Absolutely. That's a very different disease, clearly. And people draw parallels, but as I've said to Norman Swan on his program, I just don't think that's a fair analogy.
It's not.
So yes, I think we would have done, I hope that we would have done, different things than what I'm saying would be the ideal scenario here with COVID-19. If we had been attacked by a Spanish flu, and we may end up in the future having an attack from a bug that really attacks children, let's say, or, people in the primes of their lives, and then the policy response should be different. The argument is simply make a proportionate response to the threat that you see and be cognizant of the costs of it. Now, in terms of public's response to my comments, yes, I did get a few, hate mails saying, go back to the U.S., the best country in the world, haha, and, you heartless.
Yes, I think you were called heartless, weren't you? I remember that.
Yeah, definitely. Heartless was a big one. And you want to throw grandma and grandpa under the bus, absolutely not the case. Right? That is simply not what I'm arguing. Indeed, I think that if we had thought creatively about it, we might have been able to come up with policy solutions which would better protect our older people than the, lockdowns for everybody.